Biff tried to get behind me, but my random flailing lucked out and managed to get him right in the daddy bag. Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. You've been to the internet before. Well, we out here. Today we're jumping into r/NeckbeardStories. Hooray! Zucca has returned with his 4-H Chronicles. It should be a delicious time. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'd like to encourage you to follow me on Twitch and also TikTok. We've also got some additional plugs and disclaimers, which we're going to get out of the way, and then we will dive directly into some of this r/NeckbeardStories cringe. Zucca's 4-H Chronicles! Gang warfare! Yeah, we out here, like I said, gang! What? Another post mere days after the inaugural 4-H story post? I mean, it probably was posted in relatively quick succession, but I haven't gotten to it in that same amount of time, which I do apologize for, but I'm just all over the place lately. From Zucca? Yeah, I don't know anybody else who writes the 4-H stories. All right. What sorcery? What madness is this? Well, friends, I'm here to tell you, I tumbled down the rabbit hole of that old journal, and memories have come flashing back in vivid technicolor, and I am but a humble servant to what eldritch entity serves the role of my muse and memory. Eldritch entity? I don't think that's technicolor. I think they're making up colors that your mind can't even conceive of. My brain's melting out my ears right now. So I have another tale from that era. This one is very near and dear to me, and reading the words of past me has made me reflect on how far I've come as a person, especially since the childhood trauma that I've sometimes alluded to was much fresher on young Zucca's mind and heart. Yeah, but kids are resilient, I guess. I'm sorry you're still carrying that around with you, man. I hope at some point you're able to just let it go 100%, but yeah, I don't know if that's actually possible. It seems like you've come to terms with it at the very least, so we'll move on. As such, I have a story for you today that harkens back to the earliest days of my true brotherhood with Mongoose. Oh, brotherhood stuff always hits me right in the feels. I miss my brother, man. The first part came with words spoken from my grandfather's deathbed, and the second part, well, that's what you're here for, isn't it? I don't know what I'm here for, honestly. We haven't got much of a clue yet. I invite you to another look into 4-H, rabbit show life, and the event that made me feel like a real big brother for the first time in my life. Maybe we will get some feels today. You know, I'm bracing myself in advance. And it came with a clash. Its harbingers were a gang of bullies. Yes, plural. Yes, many bullies. Whoa! I mean, what's better than one bully that you get to bully? Multiple bullies that you get to bully. And then you're like the Meta Super Alpha Double Plus bully or something? Is that how this works? I don't know. By the time all was said and done, 9 kids, including myself, would be bloody, bruised, and roughshod. And 6 kids would be forever banned from rabbit shows. Was this a 3-on-6 situation? But you still won? All right. Warning, this way lies violence. Yeah, I'm all right with that most days. Now then, you know what time it is, ReddX. This one's a little bit different, but apropos. The tune is playing with the big boys from Prince of Egypt. I've never seen the movie. I don't know the song. It goes super slow. I gotta be real with you. I'm not excited for the different, but we're gonna try it out. It's probably gonna go fine. Twitch chat said it would, so we're gonna have to see right now. So you think you've got friends in high places with the power to send us all to hide. Well, forgive us these smirks on our faces. You'll know what playtime is once you have cried or died. You're playing with the bullies now. Playing with the bullies now. Every kickin' insult tells you who's in the cult. Playing with the bullies now. Playing with the bullies now. You're playing with the bullies now. Stop this silly notion. There's no friendship potion. Cry us all an ocean. Wow. Grab your broken walkie boy. You're playing with the bullies now. By the power of Biff, Regina George, Draco Malfoy, Johnny Lawrence, Nelson Muntz, George Winston, Dudley Dursley, Eric Cartman. You're playing with the bullies now. You're playing with the bullies now. By the might of Zach Ward, you will not keep us bored. Obey our whims by Nancy Allen's power. You put up with us, we cackle at you, and just to watch you cry and stew, you can join our mean gang too. But first, boys, it's time you knew. Or it's your own blood you'll spit, boys. You're playing with the bullies now. Playing with the bullies now. Close enough for government work. It's a super weird one to sing, and I don't know if I got the whispery parts fine, but okay, we got through it. Not my favorite, I gotta be perfectly frank, but it's over. We are into our Dramatis personae, so let's carry on. Zucca, ROP, Master of Ceremonies, and helpless witness to the horrifying events that took place. 14 years old at the time, and full of the gusto that only a young dummy can muster, would have broken glasses and a shiner by the time this tale is done. 14 is the first time that you felt like a real big brother? Bro, I don't know what to say about this. But better late than never, I suppose. Mongoose is Zucca's younger brother and economist, is friendly, cordial, eager to debate but not argue, and hates communism with a burning passion. Yes, even this early. Between watching that vintage Scrooge McDuck special on how money works to commanding heights, economics fascinated him. Was in a doghouse bereft of shoes at one point during this tale. Yeah, still out there hating commies, so good on him. You can do whatever you want as far as I'm concerned. Jim, my longtime mentor in all matters Dutch Rabbit, and a good man through and through. The guy helped me get my nationally acclaimed Dutch herd up and running when I lost Duchess. He was waiting in the wings to give me one of my best Dutch does, which I guess is a lady rabbit. I feel like I'm missing a lot of stuff. I don't know who Duchess is. I'm sorry that happened, I guess. Pam is Jim's wife, and as pleasant and sunny a soul as you've ever met. The kind of person who never had a negative thought in her head or any meanness in her heart. She did have some choice words, however, regarding the gang. What's that quote? All that's needed for evil to prosper is for good men to do nothing. So good job, Pam. You're a good man. Woman. Dowager! Named after downtown Abbey's Countess, she is Joan's grandmother and a true spitfire of a granny. This is a woman who, when pulled over by a highway patrolman for a silly reason, looked over her sunglasses and asked him, "Are you gonna arrest me, George?" To which he, having grown up in Sisquoc, responded, "No, Miss Dowager, I'm still scared of you." I mean, if you're scared of her, then all the better to arrest her for, right? I think that's how that works. If you ask me if I'm going to arrest you, now I'm kind of like contractually obligated to arrest you. I'm sorry, I wouldn't have done it if you didn't with the smart mouth, right? Wolf Mom, Zucca and Mongoose's mother, raised a farm girl in a Texas small town who is so named because she's a force unto herself when she sniffs BS, but is self-reflective enough to know if she's crossed a line. Mother of 4 nerd boys, a cordial hostess, a dynamic group leader, and the leader of the Rabbit Project in our club, personal hero of mine, as most good mothers should be. And then, of course, we've got the gang. Gang, gang! I said it again. These kids didn't actually show rabbits. They were just the children of a handful of adults who went to the rabbit shows. Oh, their parents are all weirdos. These kids didn't stand a chance. So do you raise rabbits? No, I just come to the shows. Wow, okay, never talk to me again. They were regarded as the gang by show officials because they had cultivated a reputation for being irritants, troublemakers, and all-around pains right in the rear. The mists of time have stolen the names of these brats from me, but there were 3 standabouts. Oh, introducing some of the gang. Regina, the younger sister of the ringleader of the gang, looked like an aged-down version of Regina from the second Beethoven movie. Shout out to my 90s chooms. I think that's too deep of a cut for me. Debbie Mazur is the actress. She was also in The Craft. That's what I recognize her from. She had a knack for manufacturing BS on the spot and used this to great effect. Biff! Do I even need to cite this reference? I mean, if it's not Back to the Future, then yes. If it is Back to the Future, maybe still yes. Don't presume people's knowledge. This kid looked like what would happen if Alvin the Chipmunk was changed into a human. Attitude, buck teeth, and all. Was pretty short, but had a real mouth on him. Sailors would wince at the stuff this kid word vomited out on the regular. As a sailor, I'm pressing X to doubt, all right? I've never been shocked or amazed at words that came from a child's mouth, but who knows? Biff might be the exception to the rule. There's also Gigantor, the leader of the bullies, 2 inches taller than me and 50 pounds heavier in spite of being the same age. Yeah, he corn-fed, boy. This girl was built like a Mac. Oh, she's a girl. Well, there's some sexism shining through, isn't there? She was built like a Mack truck, and she knew how to throw that weight around. And I'd like to take the opportunity to remind you that I've always been a solidly built person. And this girl was larger, and for the same reasons. Muscle built from handling animals. Well, at least I was right with the corn-fed bit, right? Even if I got the gender completely wrong. The stage is the Bakersfield Fairgrounds. Oh, I've been there. Now, when fairs aren't being held, the best place that ARBA rabbit shows take place are at the fairgrounds. There's wide open facilities, sometimes cages already there for holding your animals, and a lot of space to blow off some steam. That's just what the gang was trying to do, you know, beating up their fellow rabbit show watching people. Just to blow off some steam. And the Bakersfield Fairgrounds had some wide spaces indeed. Near the building chosen to hold the rabbit show, there was a gazebo surrounded by rose bushes. This is important later. Oh, so all the blood that was drawn was mostly drawn by a bunch of flowers? I feel like I've been misled slightly. I guess we'll have to see as the story starts. It was the crack of dawn. Well, it was actually pitch black when we packed up all the bunnies, got them put into travel cages, loaded into our red Isuzu Trooper, and drove the 4 hours to Bakersfield, caravanning with Joe on and Granny Dowager. It's the kind of earliness in the morning that gives you a breathtaking view of the sunrise, but you are altogether too groggy and still coming to consciousness to fully appreciate it. Yeah, because kids don't drink coffee. See, you need to get that addiction developed nice and early. 14 years old, you're old enough for a cup of Joe, ain't you? And I mean a real cup of Joe, not a foofy Starbucks drink. Now we're gatekeeping coffee. Thank you so much. The journey there was filled with Beach Boys on CD, sips of Gatorade, and groggy conversation, accentuated by the occasional sounds of fluffy hawks stamping on the cage floors when the rabbits detected a change in direction, acceleration, or deceleration. I think the rabbits were probably just on edge because they're going to Bakersfield. They know what happens in Bakersfield. And if you have to ask, then you'll never know, and be grateful for that. The stamp is an alert response, something that rabbits use to signal danger. See? Or agitation, or just for chuckles if the rabbits are feeling particularly impish. I do imagine most rabbits are at least slightly impish, right? This rabbit show, unlike others in the past, would be a little more fun. Seeing as Mongoose and I had gotten a pair of walkie-talkies as a present, and were eager to try them out in the field and just play commandos when our rabbits weren't up for judging. Oh, that's why a walkie was mentioned in the song. My mind immediately jumped to like a walker for old people with the tennis balls on the bottom. But yeah, clarification. I appreciate it. We were relatively new to the rabbit show circuit, but were making fast friends. Not the least of which had been Jim and Pam, who were, by then, my mentors in all things Dutch and Minnie Lop. Are they named after characters from The Office? Can I ask you that? I'm pretty sure that's what happened here. Rabbits are judged breed by breed, comparing each individual belonging to a breed to others of the same breed. Did we say breed enough? Is that triggering demonetization or something? The judges would inspect each animal, make notes on their official ARBA show notes, compare notes after judging, and then announce the placement. Yeah, that's animal shows in a nutshell, I guess. This process tends to take a while, which leaves huge blocks of time for rabbit breeders to socialize, catch a nap, read a book, or attend the raffles. Oh yeah! I can't wait to spend some tchotchke that'll spend a decade on my shelf before I throw it away. Oh boy, was I good at the raffles. How many tchotchkes you got, Zucca? You can tell me, it's fine. The trick was finding something that only had a few tickets and then tossing in a good amount of tickets. I won a VHS copy of Dr. Dolittle. Oh, that's going right on the shelf. That's beautiful. The Eddie Murphy one. That's the worst one. And a new travel cage right on the shelf. And a gift certificate for 20 pounds of See's candy, which also went right on the shelf until some ants came and ate it. No, but I can understand how this is engaging to a kid. You're like, hell yeah, technically free stuff. A bunch of stuff that I didn't have to pay for. This time I had my sights set on a well-made nesting box. Ooh, boxes for nesting. Nesting boxes are made for when your doe is expecting a litter of bouncing baby bunnies, quite literally, and needs someplace warm and safe to build a nest. I guess it's better than a shoebox, isn't it? They'll build that nest by digging out whatever material you use to fill the nesting box and pluck fur from their dewlap, that floof on the chest of the doe rabbits, and will furnish the nest with it. Oh, she's pulling out her own hair for the children? Just be patient, okay? The children will make you want to pull your own hair out before long anyways. You don't need to do it before they get here. This is all wasted breath, though. The rabbit, he doesn't even speak English. We made a lot of our own nest boxes, but this one was very nice and clean. Yeah, Mom, Dad, give me some money. I want to win the box. I threw a few tickets in other bags, but didn't really pay attention. It was after leaving the raffle table that I bumped into her. Uh-oh. She had a face like a ferret. Oh, cute. With upturned eyebrows that, at the time, I didn't recognize as being mean girl eyebrows. You know the kind, right? Do mean girls have a specific type of eyebrow? I don't know the kind. I have to admit to you right now. I have no idea. But regardless, ever the friendly doof, I introduced myself and asked if she wanted to hang out with myself and Mongoose and Joanne and play around with the walkie-talkies. Oh, it's a nice invitation. There you go, making friends. She and her little sister and their friends agreed, and we began to play out in the open areas. We were having ourselves a proper grand old time when I heard it over the intercom. Dutch owners, please bring your animals to the judging table. I made a joke about the Netherlands and excused myself, delivering my rabbits, a brown-gray buck named Moonshadow, a blue buck named Viger, yeah, Star Trek reference. I don't watch Star Trek. and a black doe named Nightingale to the judging table. Wait, we call out the Star Trek reference, but we're just gonna pass right over the Moonshadow reference? Was that Cat Stevens? Or no, he goes by Yusuf Islam now. But he doesn't make music anymore as far as I know, so probably doesn't matter anyways. It's probably too deep of a cut, but see, we all experience different things. Little did I know that in my absence, the gang of 6 kids began to pick on Mongoose and Joanne, stealing the walkie-talkie that they'd been playing with and refusing to give it back. Uh-oh. This is why it's always dangerous to interact with other human beings. Why aren't you giving it back? Mongoose had demanded. Because you want it! Ha ha ha! Regina snickered in response. When they saw me approaching, Regina took off with the walkie and I pursued. Really, I want you to just like spear tackle this this adolescent girl to the ground. That'll teach her a good lesson. It was a helter-skelter chase across the fairgrounds, and it was, unfortunately, bait. Oh, they got you good, didn't they? Bait that I swallowed whole. For as I ran after Regina, the others, Gigantor in particular, began to clobber Mongoose and Joanne. Do you think that they plotted all this out, or was this just kind of the way that it went? Because I don't know, it seems like a lot of foresight for kids to implement, but maybe I underestimate them. They stole Mongoose's shoes just to throw them on the roof of one of the squat office structures, and Mongoose fled into a doghouse to hide from them. Oh, the humiliation. That don't sit right. We gotta get some revenge. Joanne had his sweatshirt taken, and let's just say he had the build of Chunk from the Goonies, and the little devils wanted a truffle shuffle free of charge, taking to slapping his torso until he was beat red. Oh, the double humiliation. Yeah, this really leaves a sour taste, man. I hope it all comes back around, man. All of this happened while I was chasing down Regina. Regina had, in classic horror movie victim style, ascended the gazebo, which I ought to point out had only one entrance. She then dove over the edge, landing into the rose bushes. Yeah, sometimes karma takes care of itself, you know? You did that to yourself. I had no part, really. I also ought to point out now that Regina was wearing shorts. If you need me to tell you what happens when you jump into rose bushes while wearing shorts, then you need to spend more time outdoors. Yeah, go touch some grass, but definitely not some roses, because they're super pointy and stuff. I jumped over the rose bushes, finding Regina on her side, unleashing a blood-curdling scream at her bloodied and shredded legs. I mean, it serves you right, honestly. Can I get that walkie-talkie back, though? And Zucca says, look, I just want the walkie-talkie back. This wouldn't have happened if you hadn't run off with it, I snipped. She looked at me with contempt, the screaming ceasing when she saw that nobody cared. Remember when I said these kids have a reputation at shows? She then tore the antenna off the walkie-talkie. I hope it's a retractable antenna, because they could just start whipping her with it. Nobody knows what's a walkie-talkie whipping and what's a rosebush cut. Plausible deniability, that's what it's all about. I was aghast, scooping up the wrecked item as she ran off. She got her just desserts. She learned something that day, I think. Maybe that's presuming a lot about her capacity for thinking. Or at least it would be wrecked if the antenna didn't pop out naturally and was basically a cinch to fix. Oh, so you could have taken the antenna off and beaten her with it earlier. Hey, dumb bully. Can't even break a toy properly. I dropped off the walkie at the spot Wolf Mom picked for us to set up shop and took off in search of Mongoose and Joanne to inform them of my success. Well, little did he know they was having troubles of their own. I found Mongoose crying in the doghouse, and something deep inside me stirred. Seeing him like that, knowing that I hadn't been there, shook something loose inside of me. A protective, brotherly instinct. Here it is! Unleash your rage! I helped him out, helped him get his shoes back. But that's when Jawan arrived, half naked and covered in red handprints, weeping up a storm himself. They're coming, dude! Jawan cried out. They're not very far behind me! Prepare for battle! Mongoose and Joan, were in no shape to fight. I knew some kickboxing, but even if we were all primed, it's still 2-to-1 odds. I like those odds. I always bet on me. Other thing that sounds cool to say. No lie, my mind flashed back to my grandfather, laying in his deathbed. My brother and I were 5 years younger at that point, and we had no idea that it was the last time that we would see him alive. We'd gotten fuzzy posters on the road down and were busy filling them in. For those who don't remember, fuzzy posters were those posters that came with some markers and had like black patterns cut out of felt so there'd be no running of ink or messed up lines. I do remember those. You could make your very own work of art. Mongoose presented his poster first, and I butted in saying, "Mine's better!" Mongoose went to pout in the corner, returning to his pile of posters, and Grandpa beckoned for me, calling me over close. "Hey, kiddo, I've got something important to tell you, and I need you to listen," he said, his voice weak in between deep breaths drawn through the plastic tube under his nose. "Yes, Grandpa?" I asked merrily, expecting him to tell me to pursue a life of artistic endeavors because of how my poster had just completely blown him away and awed him. A man in his 70s who had witnessed man-made horrors beyond his comprehension. "Don't put him down," Grandpa said, simply, locking his eyes with mine. "What?" I quietly whispered, a ball of ice forming in my belly. "When your world comes crashing down, when your life becomes pure hell, when everything you know turns to crap, when you're left bereft of hope, that man over there," he said, pointing to Mongoose, "will be the only one that you can turn to. See, that's what it is about brotherhood, man! It has been at least a couple of decades since my brother's gone away, but I want him back every single day. Because he is like my ride or die, you know what I mean? Someday maybe he get out of jail. I don't know if it'll ever be like the good old days again, but here's hope beyond hope, man. Told you there was gonna be some feels. Just a little smidge. I'm not gonna get too lost in the sauce. My world indeed crashed down around me. Mongoose and I had been pretty antagonistic towards each other. Yeah, that's part of brotherhood too. It's fine. But hearing those words, I made a conscious decision. I would try and be a better brother to him. "Mongoose, Juan, go get the adults. Get some show officials. Get anyone," I murmured. "What do you mean? Let's all go. I'm gonna hold him off. Go on," I said, feeling way calmer than I should have. "Oh, he's gonna be the hero. Look at him go, making his final stand." This crap works in the movies, right? Why not here and now? Because 9-on-1 is much worse than 9-on-3. Oh. And eventually, I guess OP comes to regret his decision because he says to himself, stupid Zucca. Come to think of it, it might have been a little bit of the self-loathing that I'd felt at the time, riding the coattails of the trauma. I suck at punishing myself, so let's give these punks a chance. Yeah, go ahead, hit me. I probably deserve it. I had that point in my life too, when I was like super edgy punk rock guy. Thank God we've gotten past that point, honestly. Either way, I was firm in my decision. Don't do anything crazy. Come on, Mongoose, Joanne huffed, staggering off with Mongoose in tow, who looked back at me. To this day, I'll never forget the look of gratitude in his eyes. I heard 6 sets of footsteps behind me, and I turned around to face my fate. Gigantor was at the lead and fuming. Look what you did to my little sister, you punk! She snarled, pointing at Regina's bloodied legs. Yeah, man, I saw it happen. You pushed her into the bushes, Biff exclaimed. Whoa, hold up. She stole our walkie-talkie and she jumped into the bushes by herself. I didn't push her, I retorted. I don't think they're gonna listen to reason, friend. Gigantor lumbered up close. Do you like your glasses? She asked coldly, reaching for them. I swatted her hand away and was rewarded with a withering punch to my stomach. I guess that's okay, we can handle that one, just not the face, all right? That's the moneymaker. Gigantor hit like a freight train. I forget where I learned it, probably from one of the many books that I dove into to escape my freshly minted trauma, but while kneeling over, I immediately brought my head up under her chin, causing her to bite her tongue. Yeah! Why are headbutts so massively underutilized? I guess because your neck is short, but if you could land a headbutt, that's basically it. She could be seeing at least a few stars after getting clapped in the chin like that. I proceeded to stamp on Biff's foot and throw a very clumsy punch at one of the other kids, while one of them threw a brick at my head, Jesus, beating me across the crown and leaving a gash. Oh, so we're playing with weapons now, okay. Let me find a brick and we'll see how this goes. I don't think I need to elucidate on the prolific exsanguination that one experiences from a scalp wound. Yeah, it looks really cool. Taking a cue from them, I grabbed another brick and went for Regina's nose as I saw her reaching for a pocket knife. Bro, this got really real. That escalated quickly.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
The dookie had officially gotten quite real. Yeah, wow, where did this come from? They're kids, right? I guess kids are capable of beating and gouging their rivals, but you don't see it very often. Gigantor, enraged and in her own way, exercising the same protective sibling instincts that I had just felt, slammed me against a wall and hammered me in the eye. I grabbed her arm and bit down like a damn animal. I thought she was gonna pin you against the wall and kiss you. That would have been an even more unexpected way to escalate things. But probably, you know, she's built like an ogre. I don't think Zucca would enjoy it too much. Biff tried to get behind me, but my random flailing lucked out and managed to get him right in the daddy bag. The baby boy daddy bag, causing him to suddenly sing soprano and drop into a fetal position. God, it's just too easy. Another blow to the head with a brick from one of the other kids, and I just bit in harder. Hey, you slapped to the head twice with a brick and you're still standing. Nope, couldn't be me. Gigantor managed to disentangle me from herself and slam me down on the ground, and that's when all six, well, five, because Biff was still wheezing like a squeaky toy, began to kick me. Well, you put up a good fight, OP, but you kind of knew that this was the way that it's gonna go. I remembered from my kickboxing that protecting the head is key, but I can remember looking up and seeing them full of rage that me, Mongoose, and Jawan had resisted and not given in to their nonsense like every other kid at the shows apparently seemed to have done. Stop that right now! The voice of a cranky, chain-smoking angel. Dowager stormed up, and behind her were Jim, Pam, Wolfmom, and about half a dozen judges and show officials. All right, the cavalry has arrived. Now all these adults are gonna start beating the crap out of these kids, right? No, of course, you can't do that. Oh, it's against the law, blah, blah, blah. Dowager got these kids up against the wall and began reading them the riot act while my heavily bleeding self was peeled up off the ground and rushed to the medic tent. You should count yourselves lucky that I know your parents, or I wouldn't. Look at me! Don't look at her! No one's coming to save you! Your loser Uncle Lucifer could stick his head up from the ground and he wouldn't be able to save you right now! Granny mad. This and so much more I heard fading behind me as I trudged along. The poor nurse there was accustomed to rabbit bites, cage pinches, the very occasional broken toe or finger, but not me. And she would have more to come just as soon as Dowager was finished tearing them a new one. In the end, I had a cracked rib, a black eye swollen shut, a loose tooth, lacerations aplenty, and one of my fingers wasn't pointed the right direction, and my glasses were also mangled beyond recognition. I looked worse than I felt, which was like $1,000,000. Yeah, maybe not once the adrenaline wears off, but that is really cool, like life hack body superpower. Your brain's just like, oh, you need some extra juice? Your finger's broken, but that's fine, ignore it. Just keep swinging. That is amazing to me, honestly. You definitely got taken for a ride, but I mean, it was 6-on-1. What are you gonna do about it? We all knew that was gonna happen. I'm surprised it didn't come off even worse. 17 stab wounds with a pocket knife or something like that. Jesus. I truly felt like a big brother. I found out that I won an incense burning kit. Why not? A bag of feed and the novelization of the movie Willow at the raffle. No luck on the nest box though. My name is Willow. That's such a great movie. The book probably not as good because it's a book made from a movie instead of like, you know, a movie made from a book or whatever. But yeah, now I kind of want to go watch Willow again. Moonshadow took Best of Breed, and Nightingale took Best of Opposite Sex of Breed. Huh? Basically, that's an award given to the next best, who is the opposite sex of the winner of Best Breed. All animals who got Best of Breed are judged to see who is best of show. Dang, you just clean up, you know, taking home all the prizes. Why don't you leave something for the residents of Bakersfield, Zucca? Huh? They don't have much. Afterward, I don't mean to come at Bakersfield so hard. Afterwards, I learned that the gang had been perma-banned from any ARBA function. Their parents could still attend. They're creepy, negligent parents. But the offspring would have to stay at home. In the years that followed, every time we showed up at shows, myself, Mongoose, and Joanne were warmly regarded as the ones who wound up getting the gang kicked out. Seems that nobody there had any fondness for them. Yeah, they were just waiting for a good reason to get them out for good. And thank God for that. On the way home, though it hurt to chew, we were given a treat of A&W burgers. Yeah, that's delicious. Thanks for saving us, Zucca, Mongoose said, himself looking surprised that I had stuck my neck out and taken that kind of punishment. And from that day forward, Mongoose and I were each other's best friends, forging a bond that remains to this day. A little bit jelly, honestly, but I'm glad to hear it. I know not everyone has had the blessings that I've had, like the family that I've been blessed with. It's for that reason that every time I part ways with them, I thank God and every lucky star for my family, as you should. It's time for me to finally hit post on this because tomorrow I'm heading to Mongoose's house to fix some electrical problems that he's having. Oh yeah, that's the benefit of your bro being in the trade school, isn't it? Friends, be it family you were born with or family that you've made, treasure the people in your life who you can count on and who can count on you. Because as Grandpa Jerry said, and yes, I swear that was his name, thank you Jerry much. See, it all comes back around, doesn't it? They will be the only ones that you can count on when life ends up going to hell, as it does from time to time. ReddX, I can't thank you enough for taking this journey with me and reading these tales. It is my pleasure as always. You are the absolute man. Yes, it is true. I was born quite male. And viewers of ReddX's channel, remember that you are worth it. Zucca out. Be sure to tune in for the next tale in the 4-H saga when PETA visits the fair. Honestly, this just sounds like the worst day in existence. Waking up way too early, driving to Bakersfield, getting the crap beat out of you. I am beyond ready to go home. I don't know that an A&W burger is gonna fix everything, but I am glad that these kids, you know, got what for. A little bit of comeuppance, you know? It seems what they really needed was some discipline in their lives. And while you didn't dole out the discipline, you surely helped to get them caught and facilitated it in your own way. So good. Glad to see him gone. Good riddance, as we say. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this story. If you did, I hope you like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on everything. Woo! Check out my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous Patreon patrons and YouTube channel members right now. I'd like to thank them all very much. So thank you too. Selwing, Samantha, A. Wells, Organic Steve, Vladimir Dragonoff, A Tiny Boy, Ameltia Hannon, Sean Cantwell, John Endorse, Train Boy, That One Gay Cop, Valley Eyed Crane, She's Angel Dark, Bedazzled Misery, Skylar Rain, The Fez Wearer, Rosie Rainbow, Heaven Sent, Robert Thibodeau, Jackie McQuitty, Grimstribe, AJ Collins, Tooth Plushy, Corey Arts, Florentic Flavor, Dungeon Bat, Billy D, Robert Waits, Brandon Ashcraft, Phantom Danica, Skylar Morningstar, The Gypsy Barber, Fire Drake, Death's Flagship, and buy two, get one hand. Over on the Patreon side, Ms. Black, Gorius Maximus, Harley Owen, Robert Waits, Camille Sarah, Mr. Parentfall, Wagon Pants is my father, ReddX, Evil 9, The Cringening, the one where you get chased around by the Poopy Cool Man. Yeah, that's my favorite one. Vixie, Fluxer, I mean Jerry, Captain Cloud Jerry, Hong Kong, Ellipses, Esteban, Orgami, Steve Bean, Top of the Bag of Mouse from Downtown Santa, Jerry, Silent Revolver, Zartarus, 28 Jerry, that's the original Jerry for those who don't know, Zarfar Barkar. What's that supposed to mean? Destiny Piper, Jerry Kitsune, Air Frankenberry, ain't that a hide, bitch though? Assassin Punk, Jerry, Bang Bang, Baby Jerry, Benji in the Jets, Billy D, Bitch Gremlin, Blade the Hero, Chancellor Blue Kraken, Commander J Tank, Dirty Little Jerry, Dr. Larks, Dial, Aaron Era, Erratic Mechanic, Eastbars, Frozen Over Studio, Fire Drake, Gizmo Jack, Hadrian VR, Irish Pirate, Just Lost the Blue Marble of Mutiny. Sad when that happens, isn't it? Iron Hollow, JM Coon, Jeremy Smith, Jerry Blacktail, Jukebox Jerry, stars in his eyes, Kelly Kraken, Lady Italian, Greyhound Dino, Lady in Awakening, Lauren Crow, Legitimate Girth, Lord Jerry O, leader of the Thunder Jerrys, Lukovic was a race car driver, he was a good friend of mine, never did win that check and flame, but I helped him drink his wine, I know how it goes now. Like and subscribe, Lady Dix, Mad Monk, Melgar the Destroyer, Metal Factor, Mint Chip, oh, you're back, Needless King 89, Phantom of the Pines, Jerry Kins and Jerry Beth, Queens, Quaaludes and Quagmire, Sarita the Lolita, Scarlet Kevin, Sergeant Gay Cop, Bringer of the Law, Silo Wim, Stephanie Gunner, Storm, Jerry, welcome, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tomago, the Gypsy Barber, the Lilith Who, Lord Trufusky, this isn't even my final beard, trying to play Delta Bomb to get back to the real world, Vanguard Angel, VC3, Viking Jerry, Vladimir Dragonoff, Wiki Tag, Zephyr Gargoyle, or Clay, Commandant Mooney, Kira, not another Jerry, but he is though, Cage Alex 9, Redwind, Bad Penny Lane, Carcass, not my third stuff, Venom Jerry, One Leg Jerry, has returned from battle, Normal Jerry, alright, Red Blackers, Red Hell Beards, hijack my internet, the Mambo Doritos Daily, send the Soap Squad, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do what we can, but we don't negotiate with terrorists. Amber Alder, another stupid hipster, Atomic Jerry, Celebrator of the Top Army, Bartender Kalia, Big Dad Wolf, Broken Spine Horseradish, Cake Jerry, the original Different Jerry, California Jerry Girl, Chicago Panda, Corey, Commission now, whoa, Crypt Titties, Defon Jerry, Death Tuna, Deku, Dilf Jerry, Dwarfy Dude, Fedorable Jerry, just tip the lady, ooh, get to it, the Doodles commission's open over there as well, Jerry, Boo's daughter, Ghost of Alpha Greymon 365, half Slavic Jerry in a tracksuit, he cannot, Hydra Jerry Solomon, Janitor Jerry's back from the abyss to clean up after teenage beards, Jeffrey, Gerald of Arabia, Jerry Boba 2 S's and E, Jerry Springer, the results are in, you are not the neckbeard, I mean kinda I am though, a little bit, Jerry the Sexy Baga, Jerry's mom's got it going on, Jerry Roxas, Jerry Role-Playing Game, Kid Marvelous, Defender of the Innocent, Enemy to the Bearded, Kitzikin, Mama Machia, CD, maybe next time, Mecha Suits, coming to sense of your cringe, my sense of the world, yeah, it's happening a little bit, it's fine, totally okay, Mr. Gasmask, Not Invisible Angel, Raptor, Selden Dark, Snary, that's Snom Jerry, Spoonie the Rogue, Spoopy Scary, Jerry Ton, Techno Dubs, they call me Jerry Two Dives, Jerry Pie, this is purely a mercantile transaction, to Infinite Jerry Ed Beyond, Tokyo Bird, Unkale, Vaughn, Throw Sulier Mountain Dew, Grow by Neckbeard, Grow, it's Jerry Time, Hold ReddX Morpher, Hygiene, it's Jerry Time, Hold ReddX Morpher, Humility, and thank you to my $1 patrons as well. Bless up all the Jerrys and not Jerrys alike, helping me to do the most out here. If you can afford to support, it's huge, truly. If you can't, don't sweat it too hard, though, friends. I appreciate you coming through, hanging out with me. I hope you'll come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there, wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoyed today. Maybe like watching some more ReddX videos, right? Yeah, right. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.